Happy to have in studio for our Focus on Shelton, the City Administrator, Ryan Wheaton. Morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff.
How are you?
Good, you?
I'm well, thanks. First things first, I was talking with folks all week long, and there is a big event happening we want to make some mentions of, a job fair at the Civic Center.
There is a job fair today. Now, I get it. I've been to a lot of job fairs. I know that when I came in this morning, I thought it would be a small event. It is a real job fair. There are dozens of employers in the first floor of the Civic Center this morning. They are setting up, and so it would be great if everybody looking for a job, looking for a better job, or have friends with a job, let folks know that today is the day to come down to 525 West Coda. Take a look, because there are a lot of great employers. I know SPI has a front row seat down there. They're looking for some people that are going to start over at the mill soon, and it's going to be an exciting day at the Civic Center.
There are some special times for OPP, former OPP employees between 9 and 10. The job fair opens to the public there at 10. So if you're coming into town, you need to take Mason Transit. Route 5 stops right in front of the Civic Center, and it does go all day long. So it does look like a great event, and a lot of folks are showing up for this thing. And there are jobs to be had at this event.
That is what I hear, yeah.
That's
absolutely.
That's pretty cool.
A real job fair.
Yeah. A real job fair. I'm going to go down there and see what's going on in a little bit, too, to see how the turnout is. Let's talk a little bit more about things that are going on in the city.
Yeah. So one of the main things that we are focusing on since I've come around is making sure that we are focused on rebuilding trust with people, not just around the city, but also with our commission and people throughout the city of Shelton employment. We got to make sure that we do a few things that are key to any governmental agency. One of them is making sure that we're open and honest, and so we're starting to make sure that we are opening things up. Last week, we actually started with our first department updates in public, and we'll do that at the first and second work sessions that our commission does each week. So those are the 2 o'clock meetings. The next one will be on Monday at 2 o'clock, and what folks will see when they come in is we'll do a Public Works projects update, Public Works operations. We'll also focus on some of the other things going around in parks and community economic development, but those departments will give their updates to the commission so that the public can hear those, so that folks know what we're actually doing day to day and what we're doing moving forward before we actually have to bring something forward for a vote.
So before you got the job as a city administrator, I know you walked around town, you're from here originally, and so did you hear in the community that trust was an issue?
I still hear that trust is an issue, absolutely. I don't know that we have always been as forthcoming with information to our commission to get them to make the right decisions and to provide them information that they needed to move forward. An example of that is before I started, all I heard about was well one. I heard the dire situation that we were in, and when I came on board, they were just ironing out the details about doing the rehab work. Because of the hard work that our water department did to bring Well 3 online and to restructure some of the way that we pull water, we actually haven't used Well 1 in months other than to exercise it. So that's one of the things that we brought forward in an interesting way to get people to focus in on it. But since things have gone well with Well 1, we haven't done a good enough job explaining to people that the problem that we feared would be there hasn't transpired.
Interesting.
In addition to that, we also have issues with projects that we need to make sure that we are informing the commission and the public fully so that they can make the right decisions to move us forward. We are going to provide some very honest project updates on Monday at our department update meeting at the work session. And in doing that, we need to tell people what has gone on with the money that we have spent. We have to be good fiscal stewards of public funds. And in order to do that, we have to be honest with people and explain to them what the situation is right now with the projects that we've already started.
How are you talking to the folks who will be giving these quite eye-opening, perhaps, reports to folks? Being transparent and being honest, especially after maybe not providing a lot of information, can be an uncomfortable situation. Are you guys talking about that, or how you're going to address these kind of things?
We've been doing that for 2 months at the office, so we have had very honest conversations about the situation we're in with different areas of the city. So when I first started, another thing we had to deal with was not having an assistant city manager or having a finance director. And I was honest with people about the situation that we were in, and they were very honest in their information about how their departments were impacted with those. So I think that helped build trust within our staff. Moving forward, though, it's letting them know whether it is a department director or if it is somebody in public works that's going to come explain something about streets. When Mike Albaugh came in, the message to him was, be honest. We need to talk about the fact that we have streets that we can't get to right now and that we're going to put them on a timeline and get to them later. But ultimately, the information that we provide to people has to be very transparent, and it has to be information that is going to inform people, good and bad. I don't want to go around scaring people, but at the same time, when our commission makes a decision on something, we want everybody to know all the information that went into making that decision. We have a lot of key decisions to make coming up. We have issues on projects that we need to solve. We have we have a SR3 parking right over by the Pear Orchard, a project that is sitting right now that's been there for almost since I was in high school.
Yeah.
We have other projects too that have kind of stalled, and we have to make some hard choices as to whether or not we reinvest more money than was expected to get these projects done, or do we look at pulling things back and actually accomplishing things that we can get done right now, still building for the future, but making sure that we're actually getting things done with the money that we are getting from these grants.
Are you finding that folks, let's see, so folks who are on the street, who are doing the jobs, are able to communicate their concerns about the projects up through the management structure to who it needs to get to?
Today, I think that they are able to do that. I don't know, I can't speak for how things have been for them in the past. I know that when I ride around in a recycling truck, when I ride around with a police officer, when I go out and meet people where they work and I tell them, I want you to let me know what's going on, I feel that people are being honest with me. If they're not honest with me, I would be scared to see what they actually think.
Sure.
But people are honest with me, and I've let everybody know that if I don't do my job, I would expect that you're going to go talk to my boss. So I've given everybody the green light to be honest with people that are making decisions. And if it means that you have to tell me a piece of bad news, we'll figure it out. But I would rather deal with it now than wait for a month or a year or 17 years.
Yeah. Wow. Well, an interesting new look into how it's going to be governed in the city of Shelton, with some big department updates to be made in the public starting on this Monday.
Right.
And these are the workshop meetings there in the middle of the day?
Absolutely, 2 o'clock.
Okay. And it's at the Civic Center, and people are more than encouraged. Will they be able to, citizens get involved in these conversations of updates, or right now it's a listening?
So there's always the opportunity to provide a public comment. We have an open public comment at the beginning of every meeting. If we're ever going to vote on something at a meeting, the public has an opportunity to voice their concerns then. One of the things that we haven't done very well as of late is build community groups that can advise us. So we have one on poverty right now. As I look around the city, that might be the only one that we organize. I may be wrong about that. In other organizations where I've worked that are public organizations, that is one of the most important things you can do for community engagement, is build work groups to handle some of the things that are going on in town. So the community visioning is another great example of a community effort that was helped out by some of the key folks in town, and they've brought forth a plan that we've actually been able to act on in part. So I think more of those things are to come. We need to get some things in line with a strategic plan and an economic development plan for the city so that we have something to point those groups toward in terms of making decisions and recommendations for us. But they will definitely have a chance coming up.
Ryan, he walks around the city. I see him often up and down the streets talking and engaging with people. So if you see him, you're more than welcome to. I just gave them that permission to do that.
Especially if you have an umbrella, because there's nothing worse than getting laughed at when you're wearing this.
Nice suit.
Pouring down rain.
You know it's raining today. All right, Ryan. Well, thank you so much, and thanks for the update, too, on the job fair that's happening today at the Civic Center. So come by, bring your resumes, and get potentially a new job and a new straight shot for the future there. So thank you so much for coming in. Good to see you.
My pleasure. Thanks.